Hello everybody, LegoBro back, and we're going to be simply making a map together. It's more of a game map than like a adventure map, and I'm not going to reveal all of my ideas all at once, but we'll slowly work on it together. Okay, so I've got this one world where every spawn chunk is loaded. It's mapped out, I should say. It's always loaded. Spawn chunks are always loaded. And I've already got a couple modules put in, and these modules do different things. So if I fly over here, this is the game role module. So if I need to switch a game role, I can just go fly over here and do that. It's probably the least useful one, but if you want to do them all at once without having to type commands in, it's pretty nice. This one's based on difficulties, and so you've got your 3 difficulties, and when you use the command that is given here, it will set block a redstone block on the command that you want it to. So if I press this button, you'll see it for a split second there. And we can manipulate how difficulties change. So moving on to the next set of command blocks, these tag certain undead mobs with the tag of undead. So let's say we've got a few loud undead mobs. We just do tag equals undead mob. Oh, and you have to turn the system on, and that kills all the undead mobs, and that works for any undead mob. So like if you wanted skeletons, maybe it's the same command, but it kills skeletons as well. And this is, if you turn it off, it does not affect the game at all, which I thought was pretty smart. We'll leave that off for now. This one just stops game sound. So this is just Minecraft music if you want to use the slider for some other things. So the next module is called Creative Plus, and this module gives you different items to make creative better. And so like if you're testing something and you need to heal yourself or eat food, you can do that. Or if you want to kill a really high health mob, you've got plus, I think that's 5 million. And then you also have spawn night and day, so right now it's nighttime. But switch between those two. Pretty useful. And then these are just things I just added relatively recently. It's possible to give yourself a firework that gives you a high flight duration. And it lasts for a long time. I don't have my skin right now because my internet's down, but so those are just the simple Creative Plus things. Now the thing that we're going to be doing the most today has to do with lobbies. I currently have this enabled, and this just, I am still farting out particles. This just simply sets off commands that will do what you desire them to do when a player spawns into the world. So let's say if you want all players to get steak, tag equals spawn. So every time you spawn into the world for the first time you get steak, and to reset my score I just do that, so I got steak. Pretty straightforward. And you also see I got put into adventure and teleported up to this platform. We're going to design the lobby today. Maybe not the aesthetic parts of it, but just the functionality. So this is just the lobby platform. And all of these are just one world that I use to start up my map, start up a map. It's actually relatively recently that I've started doing this, just so it saves time. instead of having to redo some of these things every single time. Okay, so I did a couple things. First of all, this is the main spawn point. When you spawn into this map, you go over here, you click enter game. That will eventually teleport you down to this layer. And I just like to stack these just because it makes it easier to find if you progress it a certain way too. And so I wanted shops to be within the game. So like after a round you can upgrade your stuff, kind of like how servers have it. So I just like that the way that's created. So enter will bring you down to here, and I'll set up a button or whatever. This is going to be our way of changing teams and setting them up however we would like. So a lot of times servers just set up random teams. The second option would be to have self-picking teams. So whether it be by a captain, like one person picks up 3 or 4 other players, or one person simply says, oh, I want to be on the red team, and you can be on the blue team. Those are just 2 of the main methods. There's probably a couple others of splitting up teams. And I want to implement them both. Now, if you noticed up here, we've got admin options, and I want to be, you flick a switch and it goes from random to self-picking. And then if you have self-picking enabled, you can either force it to be fair, or you can turn that off. So if red joins red team, they will be red. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. And if blue joins blue team, blue will be blue. So we've got that figured out. I mean, that's takes one command block and a couple setup commands. The thing is, what if we want the teams to be balanced? So we got to set up something else for that. And I guess I'll build out a little platform. I usually like to keep the commands that keep something running right next to the thing that it's running. But if it's not in the spawn chunks, that's not a very smart idea. But we'll see. So the first thing we want to do to create something is to make a computer, I like to call them, that we can run commands off of. And usually I just use armor stands. They're more visible, and something like this works perfectly fine. And so I go test4 @e type equals armor stand, name equals let's just go computer underscore lobby. Yeah, I think that's fine. And make this repeat always active. Now you do not need this to be running 20 times a second. I just like doing that. It doesn't really lower frame rate that much, or tick rate I should say. I mean, if you have a bunch of these maybe, but it's not tremendously awful. So we hook that up to an inverse with the torch, and we do summon. I guess it would just be armor underscore stand. And I like to do it on top of the repeating command block, so positive X 1, and custom name, I think it's like this. What was it? Computer lobby, and then custom name visible 1. And I just did the custom name visible just to see if that would work. Let me just, and yeah, so we've got computer lobby, and now you can see this is activating this so that when this dies, it will summon a new one, and you could just stand here all day and, well, Eventually it would do that, but hopefully nobody runs a kill command twice, like really quickly. I mean, this is a pretty quick system, but it does have its flaws. I think this is, I mean, you can make it probably something smarter, but that's just what I like to do. And in fact, we can do something like this and then change that to 2 blocks. So it saves a block, I guess. Not really that helpful. So we've got that. Computer lobby. I'm going to go ahead and make his custom name visible 0. In fact, I could just remove that completely. So now you won't see it at all. And you would see it through walls, and that kind of makes it ugly a little bit. So now what we want to do is balance these. And so what we can do is create a scoreboard objective. Objectives, add, oh I know, how about this? Team balancer. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and delete the other one. Remove players in lobby, because that's not the players in lobby. Oh. There it goes. And so what this can do is we can execute at every player who's simply on the blue team. And actually, we'll change that to team 1. Team 1. And keep this at E for now. Team equals team 1. And we can do, with that player, we can do a scoreboard. Oh. Players, add at E, type equals armor stand, name equals computer lobby. So this is specifying we could only add a scoreboard objective to this entity. So that's the computer that we just created. And we are going to add their what was that called? Team balancer. Team balancer 1. So I just set these up real quick so that I changed their names to team 1 and team 2 rather than red and blue. And I did that because I don't always want blue and red to be the teams. I want it to be an option within the admin if you want maybe green and purple to be playing a team. I think that would be pretty fun. Good thing we have this. Nice. And so now, this is going to add to this guy's team balancer 1 every single tick if there's a player on team 1. And so we're going to just show what it looks like on sidebar team balancer. So no one's on team 1, I believe. Oh. Yeah. So blue is team 1 for now. And I have to activate this. So now this is going to go up 20 times a second. Well, that's not going to give us an accurate amount of players on each team. So we can just simply copy this command, paste it, change this into a chain, which is always active, and make this, setting the team balancer to 0. Score players, I should say set. Let's say this creeper wants to join the blue team. Now there's 2 players on the blue team. That's not going to work though for red. So we have to copy the command, but I'm going to do some trickery, and I'm just going to do remove. So this subtracts 1 for everybody that's on the second team. So now there's 1 creeper on each team, and then I'm on the blue team. Oh, okay, get out of there. I'm not going to use pressure plates for too long. And if we kill one of the players on the team, it goes up by 1 because it was red, and if I kill this creeper, since he's on the blue team, he will go down by 1. Pretty interesting. So If I do 1 here, now that I'm on the blue team and he's on the red team, there's one person or one entity on each team. So now it's balanced. So now we can manipulate that. So I'm going to push this creeper out just to show you one more thing. If there's less than 0, there's more red team. But if it's more than 0, then there's more blue team. So so we're going to use that knowledge, whether there's 0, 1, or -1. It could be less than -1 or more than 1 as well. But for testing sake, we don't really need to check that much. So we can do a command, and I think I'm going to use barriers. Is that a smart idea? Yeah, let's use barriers. So give at p barrier, and we want 2 of them to be placed in front of the blue side. So I guess it'd be fill. And we don't need to use 2 actually, we could just use 1. But that's okay. So right now it's a 1, and so you want it to be closed. So we do execute at E, type equals armor stand. This is the computer name that we created. I guess it'd be computer lobby, and we're going to we need to specify its score. Score underscore team balancer. So if the score is at least 1, we will run the fill command. Okay. Now we can just copy that, and we will do the same command but error if it's at most 1. So it'd just be equals 1, or at most 0, I should say. So right now it'll be blocked up. I cannot get through there. I can't even break my way through there. But I can go on this side, and now I can get it back through because it's -1. So we can just copy these commands over. Let's get that creeper back, I guess. So now they're both open. Blue guy joins here. There's too many blue guys, and there's only 1 red guy. Now it's balanced again. I can go through both. Last thing I want to do before I wrap up this episode, I want to set up particles. Okay, so now I can just place blocks here. So we're going to do a particle, and let's do barrier particle. And it'll do the coordinates that I'm looking at. And we want 0 in the directions. Speed, we want 0, I guess. Count, we just want 1. Mode, I'll use force. And then at A. And so now all I have to do is replace the command barrier to, I guess remove all of this, paste that, and I don't have to worry about it until teams are unbalanced, which I believe this guy's probably on the red team. So yeah, teams are unbalanced, you cannot enter, and that creates a pretty cool effect, really. So they're balanced. Oh, that still shows. I think flame would look better. And lower it by 1 block there, and X direction, Y direction we can do 1. Okay, I'm going somewhere. So now either team, if it has too many players, and will show up particles. So there's blue showing too many particles. Let's move this guy out of the way. Okay, he's being a little stubborn. Okay, so now both teams are open. And now this guy, it's a little high. I might lower the height by a little bit. But other than that, this is working perfectly fine. And now you can't enter it. So I think we're good. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. And as always, have a great day.